Hello and welcome to Supreme Commander Forge Alliance. This is Seton's 2011, March 2011 game. I'm not able to do any FAF games right now, so this is 3599. Actually, I'm unable to do anything that requires internet, but that should be fixed in a couple of days. Meanwhile, I'll make this video and upload it somewhere else. So you might recognize some familiar names. Very good players up on top. We got Dim as Aeon taking on DCCC. That should be an excellent matchup. Obviously, both and of course, no mixing rules, so it should be straight up faction versus faction. Also, one thing to note: I did change up my audio recording. Hopefully, it's all working out, but it should be much better. Hopefully, in the future, I can do co-casts and maybe some interviews, other things. But of course, time is going to be the limiting factor. In the middle, we got Mega playing as Aeon, bringing, looks like he's going single factory, bringing in a couple engineers. In the back, we also have, I guess, Carlitos with Siren. That's pretty amazing. Siren versus Aeon. In the middle and in the back, Balk versus Sith. Also both Aeon. And it appears an all-out Aeon team up on top, because we see McFly here as Aeon against Yef Mize. So the matchup between McFly and Mize is quite nice. They always play usually on the same team and play quite a few against each other, but they're usually those two players from the United States who've been playing Seton through the dark times when it's been really hard to get a game, but they're always there. So they basically live here. This is their home. They know what they're doing. Looks like Mega much quicker to the middle. He's also got multiple point defense, 2-point defense build. You can see the scouts and an Aurora from Aeon. That's a big advantage. And 2 engineers grabbing mass. So Mega has plans to grab all the mass and deny the middle for Carlitos. Of course, that mass from the middle, there's 16,000 there. It's going to be huge. DCC looks like he's not going to play for the island. He's going to get air, but a little later. First 3 factories, perhaps first 4 land factories. We already see the drop from Dim to get the island. So that should be good. So one of the things with sound I still have not worked out is the difference between the level of the game sound as well as the level of my voice. Hopefully that's all working out. See a scout here from Mize expecting a drop perhaps from McFly on his exposed mass extractors. Mize does have a, looks like he wants second air. Already has a whole bunch of land factories. And looks like there might have been some competition for this rock. Not really clear who grabbed that. Very similar on the other side. Looks like both Beach and Air Player feel like that belongs to them, so they race for it. Nice scouting from Mize, checking out what McFly is doing, but McFly still hasn't taken his island, which is a bit surprising, giving no respect to Mize. And McFly now is going to have a 5+ minute drop on the island. We're also seeing crazy things in the middle. It does appear that the point defenses were successful for Mega, and he's cleaned up very nicely. But we do see a ghetto gunship, multiple ghettos from Dim, trying to help out his ally. He's actually taking out the point defenses together with some arty from Carlitos, but Carlitos is only going to get the last bits of that mass. We can see reclamation 11,000, nearly 12,000 for Mega. Carlitos up 3,000, so that's a huge victory for Mega. He's actually grabbing a little more, so 12,000 to about 4,000. It's about 75% of the mass went to the top team. It's a huge play, and so far, but now there's some payback from Dim. He has dropped his ghettos directly at Mega's base, but of course those got cleaned up very nicely by Aurora. And you can see the top 3 scores are Sith, DCC, and actually Dim now climbing back. But for a while it was the back players behind Mega. So Mega doing a bit of sacrifice. You can see he's going to be in a bit of trouble now. We're getting all that mass to his side. We are now seeing Aquilius taking his island, multiple Tech 1 Navy factories. He's also establishing build capacity production. And DCC, of course, DCC, if you're playing Beach, you get a huge mass boost, you're in very good shape because you can start naval production very quickly. And actually, I just missed this. Appears that Mega was killed by Carlitos, so a sacrifice by Mega, but of course Seton is played with Give. Now it's a 3 versus 4. And it looks like DCCC, now it's going to be McFly who is going to get the mid spot. So McFly does now have to worry both about Navy and the mid spot. A bit surprising. I would have expected Beach to take the mid, perhaps have a bit of an advantage against Dim, as Dim with a huge eco is quite a scary proposition. But of course DCCC was also, especially at this time, was one of the top players. Of course, it's also going to be important Sith versus Bach, but if you give Sith mass, she will beat anybody in air, so it's a very difficult spot to be in for Bach. Bach, you can see, is looks like going 5 Tech 2 power generators. He's already going Tech 3 with air. Multiple submarines from DCC. He's going to try to deny Dim entrance into the ocean. Dim is getting torpedo, actually anti-air, no torpedo launchers yet. So looks like he does not know that those submarines are coming. He's expecting bombers. He is going to be surprised. It's going to be very annoying. So a nice move from DCC with those Tech 1 submarines. Appears that now McFly is on a counterattack in the middle, putting quite a bit of mass to the middle, but that is dangerous because looking now at Mize's Navy, he's got a big Tech 1 naval spam, which could put McFly in trouble if he overproduces in the middle. And it looks like walls from Carlitos. So Carlitos is giving up the middle. He's going to be defensive. He does have some Tech 2. Some Tech 2 tanks against the Auroras. Looks like Carlitos still in full retreat. He does have some Tech 2 point defenses planned. And this is nice to see. You can see the Manti helping out in the construction. And now McFly is going to use his Aeon Tech 1 land the Auroras together with the frigates. Might go on assault against Mize, but Mize has plenty of Navy, a bit of a Tech 1 air fight. Mize is going to come in and clean that up. Always nice to see Dim. Dim always plays the entire map, so he's helping out his allies. See ASF from Balk. Also ASF from Sith. Sith establishing air production here a little further away from the starting position, which is always nice. Then you give less valuable targets to nuke for your enemy. It looks like transports. Sith doing something strange. Usually at this point you want to get as much ASF out as possible, but looks like she knows that Bach is going to be defensive, given that she has that huge mass advantage. And Sith not getting a second resource allocation. Looks like it's the first, actually. So a bit late with that resource allocation. We're now finally seeing Tech 2 Navy from DCC. Guess one thing I want to mention is Andy Rue, a player you may have seen on some of these casts, has started his own channel casting some Seton's games. So if this is the type of game that you enjoy more than others, definitely check out his channel. Subscribe. He definitely knows what he's talking about, so should be good. Looks like a drop, multiple Tech 2 drops being readied by Dim. We'll see how that works out. Swift winds from Dim going into the middle, but this is a lot of ASF from Sith. Looks like 4 Tech 2 transports being readied. It'll be very difficult for them to actually make it because there's a bunch of Tech 1 air from DCC in the way, and also Sith with the ASF, very dangerous. Carlitos on a counterattack with some Tech 2 now, a wall from McFly. And a wall of Tech 1 point defenses from McFly. So McFly is going to hope that Carlitos forgets the micro and just runs into those. Also Tech 2 shields. We're going to see a lot of those in this game. Of course, hoplites can outrange any of these units, so they have a good option. We're seeing Tech 1 bombers from DCC attacking. This is quite sad. 15-minute Tech 1 bombers having such a big effect, killing off units. And does look like Carlitos is going to micro his way through this Tech 1 point defense. Dim also now with Tech 2 Navy. Not a lot of build capacity on his Navy at all in comparison to DCC, who is just But all out Tech 2, also Tech 3 sonar. All out Tech 2 spam, no Tech 1 from DCC. And a huge thing that's happening now is Mize is on an attack with his Tech 1 Navy. He is facing multiple destroyers. He's got a destroyer of his own plus shields. No shields yet from McFly. McFly is in trouble against these frigates. If these frigates just deny any of this naval production, they're going to be in very good shape. Of course, Aeon can't really shoot straight, especially if you try to micro them. But they have excellent torpedoes, so frigates are quite vulnerable in close range. But now the shields and destroyers from Mize. So Mize really getting the upper hand. Plus torpedo bombers from Dim. Dim helping out his ally. And we've just seen, even though McFly had total air domination from Sith, has just lost Navy. This is a terrible situation to be in for McFly. Looks like he overproduced in the middle, did a little too much work in the middle. Kind of forgot, and Mize just snuck up on him. Elsewhere, we're seeing Dim now producing multiple cruisers and destroyers. Also has a Tech 2 land production for the shields. You see a lot of that as well from DCC. So whenever you see a lot of Aeon, you're going to see those bubbles everywhere. But it looks like UEF had a very nice victory here from Mize. Carlitos, meanwhile, looks like they did a whole bunch of Tech and Tech 3 mass extractors everywhere. Not a lot Tech 3 in the middle from McFly. So in terms of the middle fight, definitely a big advantage for the bottom side with Carlitos. So that was that trade-off. Early mass, which give the other three players a huge advantage, but then big problems in the middle. Although it does look like we have Tech 3 land from McFly. This is the wrong place, really, to invest in for McFly. And he has all these shields playing in the middle that would have really helped him when he had that early battle. And now he's got a huge problem. He's going to try to get some Tech 2 shields with his ACU. Try to hold on as long as possible. But, of course, once you get 4 shield boats right next to your door here, you're in big trouble. We expect a lot of cruisers to come out. Still destroyers from Mize. It's very surprising. But once you get, actually cruisers in the other naval factory. But one thing we are seeing an air battle that looks like Sith is winning. But big problems for Dim. This is something that I completely neglected. The sea just came and killed a whole bunch of mass extractors. So Dim in quite a bit of trouble. He does have a lot of shields and a navy of his own. The Strat bombers actually from Sith getting taken out, but Dim in quite a bit of trouble against DCC. He is going to fight. Looks like DC actually going to give him respect and retreat. But massive losses. Looks like actually it was Sith with some Strat bombers that came in and took out a whole bunch of mass extractors. But it looks like the Navy from DCC also did a lot of damage. So Dim definitely needs help here against DCC, who is just rolling with his Navy. You can see he's producing a lot of Tech 2 and a lot of shields. He's also got a whole bunch of blazes. And now the cruisers from Mize are coming in. Good anti-air. A lot of torpedo bombers from McFly, but that's going to be pretty futile. So it does look like that early air battle was won by Sith, which is not surprising. One thing, though, it did miss was those transports from Dim. I'm not really sure. It looks like there are some remnants of them, but it doesn't look like too much damage. This is all Tech 3. So some of those may have landed, but didn't quite make it. One thing to note, no reclaim in the water, so it's one big difference between FAF and this. One of the biggest complaints from naval players. But of course, overall, FAF, the balance is way beyond what we have here. Looks like a successful drop from Mize. And McFly actually in quite a bit of trouble getting bombed by Janus bombers. McFly going down to 5,000 health. The only thing that's saving him is the Aeon shields. Where is Sith to save her ally? Looks like not paying attention. Because this is just inexcusable. Yeah, here comes the ASF from Sith. She'll put an end to this. But it looks like McFly has got back into the Navy. Reduced the Navy. This is crazy. Should never allow. So a bit of a mistake from Mize. But Mize has so many shields here. So many destroyers. He should be able to win it back. See, at close range, if you're in range of the UEF destroyer, you're going to start dying. and no shields, of course, for McFly. It's going to be a huge disadvantage. It's these shields that have been completely out of position for McFly this whole game. We got a pretty big battle now coming up between Dim and DCC. DCC, of course, making the wall. This is the proper wall, leading with the wall and having the Aeon destroyers shoot with their superior range. Of course, you can't outrange the same faction that you're playing. One thing we're not seeing, of course, is Tech 3. We do see Tech 3, actually a GC halfway done. If you got a Tech 3 naval, Tech 3 land production with Aeon, if you make the disruptors a very good anti-shield weapon. It looks like Janus bombers now on an assault against the naval production of McFly. So Mize is going to have to, for the second time, try to deny naval production. It looks like he should be able to do it. Also a spider from Carlitos in the ocean, trying to be hidden. And a huge fight that it appears DCCC is winning, which is not surprising. Dim had those huge problems, losing a bunch of mass extractors and getting bombed by Sith. So it looks like Dim really won against 2 for very important parts of this game. Once again, now he's going to lose some mass. Bomber missing. So Dim in trouble. Very rare thing to see Dim losing from Rock. And of course, this is the real Dim. M&B, this turned out to be Urban Pommel. At least that's what Pommel said in one of his chats. So not surprisingly, Dim wasn't back on Setons yet on FAF. Looks like through the middle we got the GC from McFly. There's no experimentals, well, now halfway done on a Mega for Carlitos. Carlitos has very good eco in the middle out of Tech 3. It looks like he's going to give up quite a bit of his base. And now Dim really here is just giving up. He's now going to remove his engineers. Dim has completely lost Navy. Now Strat bombers coming in from Sith. Once again going after mass extractors. Good stuff from Sith. It was all Mega's ability to give Sith enough advantage to get air control, where Sith took advantage of the air control to deny Dim the eco advantage, and then DCC took advantage of that and outspammed Dim and Navy. So it was really that chain of events. And now in the middle we do see McFly. Looks like he once again lost naval, surviving with his ACU, but he is winning the middle. Big losses for Carlitos. Of course, Carlitos has just finished his Mega, and that should kill the GC, and that's going to be a pretty big trade-off. For Tech 3 mass extractors is 20,000 mass, and a dead GC is also 20,000 mass, so Carlitos will get his mass back. It looks like the GC killed a little more. Also Strat bombers from Sith trying to help. But it looks like it will not be enough. And once again, McFly having to dodge Janus bombers. If Janus bombers weren't so easy to dodge, if there was something like EEF, McFly would be dead for sure. But once again, Mai is really keen on killing McFly. McFly just not dying. A couple more bombs would have finished it, but Sith once again saves. A lot of gunships now from DCC. Let's see what chooses to use that for. Dim now in full retreat, making nukes. Actually already has one built. Big defensive position. This is anti-shield. But now we can see Carlitos lost a whole bunch of his base. He's now going to face DCC's Navy. And the Spider from Carlitos finally made it. Cleaned up quite a bit of McFly's Navy. Oh yeah, this is Carlitos. And now a GC from McFly is going to chase down the Spider. The Spider's going to try to get a refuge from Mize's Navy. Maybe a few of these shield boats could come in, give it a little more health, and then focus fire on the GC. And now Strat bombers from Sith are going to tip this. Looks like Mize is not paying attention. He's not going to help the ally, which is really rather sad. There is a bit of an air force, of course, from Balk. And now Mercies from Sith. Not really sure what those are. Probably against an experimental. And McFly decided to sit next to Sith, because so far Sith hasn't really been protecting him too much. Although always saving, but letting him go quite low in health. Good air spam from Balk. Of course, he's always been behind. And now Mize received that air, and Sith might take the advantage to go ahead and kill off this ASF. Of course, fighting over this cruisers should be an advantage for Mize, but that's really not enough. Also, we're not seeing ASF production from DCC and just a nuke. Oh, this is something I missed. Sith has just paused the game for some reason. But a nuke has just been launched by Balk. He's been quietly making that. Should look for anti-nukes. The middle is completely unprotected. There's a halfway built GC. Can imagine that's the target. We do see one anti-nuke loaded for DCC. It's going to cover quite a bit of the middle. Sith was just working on a nuke. And of course, a nuke right there, right on McFly's head would be perfect. But that's not where it went. Just missed that anti-nuke, and it's going to kill a lot of power. It's a good placement. Also denied the construction of that anti-nuke from Sith. And it was actually good placement. If these ACUs would have ran in that direction, it looks like they chose the right direction to retreat to.
Strategic launch detected.
And another nuke. This one's from Dim. A lot of gunships coming in from DCC. Looks like Dim denying the construction of the GC. Dim with the Tech 3 ACU now under fire. He's going to try to get as many shields as possible. There should be some flak. A lot of Tech 1 flak. Now Balk is going to come in with his ASF to clean up. Where is Sith? Sith is coming in. Here comes a nuke from Dim, but that's going to be denied. And a second anti-nuke is almost loaded. So if both nukes from Balk and Dim hit this position, DCC would have been in trouble. And now another very important air fight that Sith should take. You see a retreat from Balk and a restorer from Balk. So I think the first person to make restorer was Balk. And if you make a restorer, then you can't complain when they are made against you. I'm not really sure if Balk needed to make a restorer in this situation. But really that's, I don't really agree with that choice of unit. Drops from Carlitos. Looks like Engineers, he's going to take his mass back. Always a good move. And Mize's switch is focused on wiping out the middle. Be nice if he targeted this GC before it's constructed. And missile ships now from DCC, and these are really deadly weapons. Huge range, they can reach most everything. Probably almost reach 2 Balk's production. Definitely reach most of Dim's base and all of Carlito's base, and Sith now absolutely dominating air. And Sith has also switched to restores, so that's what you do. Once you start making restores, you allow the other player to make them, and now that's just ridiculous. Strike bombers and restores, and that's doom. The impending doom for the bottom side. Here come the Strat bombers and another nuke from Dim. Not really sure where that's flying. There is an anti-nuke loaded. And it looks like that nuke might be really close to that anti-nuke. And a spider from... oh wow, this spider, if it went on after the anti-nuke, it would have been excellent. So Carlitos with the spiders doing very well. This is what you want to see from your mid player, making experimentals and attacking people, but looks like he didn't quite make it to the anti-nuke, and Dim looks like the Strat bombers from DCC finally took him out. Dim really not his best game, and he was up against a very difficult situation where DCC got more mass, air domination from Sith. Sith attacked him, and then just outspammed the Navy by DCC.
Strategic launch detected.
But very important is that this anti-nuke has not been taken out. Yet another nuke now from Balk. So really the only thing that's gone well for the bottom side are the nukes. It looks like this nuke is going toward DCC. If it hits this anti-nuke, it'll be really nice because this is not loaded yet. This is the third nuke that's flying at DCC. It looks like a Mega versus a Navy. You might want to micro that, or you will lose it. It looks like a successful nuke now from DCC at DCC's base from Balk, where the anti-nuke was not hit, and the anti-nuke just got loaded 1 second after the nuke hit. Really unfortunate, and really hitting the anti-nuke would have been a better choice, because then that would have opened up for more nuclear strikes. But now, once again, DCC is safe. We do see an anti-nuke that's already loaded for Sith, so that's no longer an option. McFly, however, doesn't have any anti-nukes, but he doesn't have too much of a base to really attack. And now the missile ships are going to work. And another GC going through the middle. There is a megalith from Carlitos that should be able to put an end to this, and another spider. Carlitos played extremely well with his experimentals, but he did lose that very important battle in the middle where he gave up most of the mass. Probably that was the most important battle that set the tone for the rest of the game. Seeing quite a bit of micro here from these two players. Actually some good stuff from Ball. And that was, yeah, Sith just lost air there. But she's got a whole bunch of extra ASF that she'll correct that problem. And Sith immediately regains air. Also a whole bunch of restorers ready to go in and start killing, and that's going to be very difficult to stop. Also a GC with shields and cover. A GC from Balk going in for defense, but this GC doesn't have anti-air. Actually now it does a lot of bangers from Carlitos, and the restorers are just rolling in. If they can avoid anti-air, there's a lot of anti-air here, however. So Sith now with the restore is absolutely dominating. I would be very disappointed in Sith if she did this unprovoked, just straight restores. It's a bit cheap, but to be fair, Balk did make restores first. It looks like Balk now coming in from behind. DCE not paying attention, neither player paying attention to their experimentals. And now finally they do, both at the same time. It's going to be very close, but looks like the shields might shift the battle just enough. Strat Bomber's now attacking Carlitos. Carlitos trying to get under a shield. Looks like he does. And standing next to a Tech 3 power generator is not the safest place. And looks like Carlitos is taken out minute 41. So it has now become 3 versus 2. Mize and Balk, the last two players alive. The mid completely wiped out, as well as the rock spot, which DCC has actually been repopulating with his own mass extractors. It was a very close fight. Looks like 39 kills, just 700 health left on this GC. A very close victory.
Strategic launch detected.
And yet another nuke. So Balk with his nuclear launcher already has 73 kills on this one. It did hit DCC's base. Did not take out the anti-nuke. Mize has also done quite well, winning Navy against McFly. Perhaps a mistake from McFly, putting too much stuff in the middle. But that's been one bright spot for his side. And now the Megalith being protected by bangers, a lot of dead restores. Of course, these missile ships, 58 kills on one, 16 on the other. It's a huge range. Whoa, and McFly forgot to leave and gets killed. So it's a 2v2, a bit of a mistake there from McFly. Did not expect that nuke to even land, but it did. Looks like another GC came in and killed Balk's GC, so that's another pretty big problem now once again for Balk. And you might want to move those bangers because they are getting wiped out. So in order for the bottom side to come back from this type of situation, something really crazy has to happen. They did just get a bit of luck, McFly dying, but DCC and Sith really have huge map control. They don't have any control over this navy. This is a very nice navy from Mize. But of course, you don't have the missile ship. And total air control, of course, from Sith flying directly over Balk's base. Balk has a lot of Tech 3 anti-air, but there is a GC coming in. A GC from Balk's trying to catch up. Maybe not the best trajectory, now he's going to chase. And losing this Tech 3 anti-air to GC will be very critical. Now we're seeing some Tech 3 Navy, some battleships from Mize. Looks like this GC now with 46 kills getting chased. This is absolute devastation in Balk. And Balk does not want to lose his nuke. He has it loaded. You might want to launch it, because it looks like this GC is bent on taking this out. He has just launched the nuke, and yeah, now the GC is going to target it.
Strategic launch detected.
So just in time. But this will now be a nice chunk of mass for Balk. The nuke has been launched. And so this is another one of Carlito's spider bots. Just got taken out by a whole bunch of mercies from Sith. That's a really good way to use mercies. Killing experimentals. It was getting really close to killing all this stuff, but went from full health to nothing in less than a second. Also see some fatties, multiple fatties from Mize. Mize with a pretty decent base, finally getting an anti-nuke, looks like. Haven't seen any nukes from the top side. But the DCC, besides getting nuked one time, which is already rebuilt from, hasn't really been attacked. Also a donut now just started by DCC. Of course, absolutely nothing bad happening to, well, Sith did lose a couple Tech 3 mass ejectors to nukes as well, but nothing major. Unlike Balk, who got absolutely ran over with a bunch of DCs, but now Balk on a counterattack. There are 3 GCs from DCC. Looks like he's producing them right here on the doorstep. And it's just a chain of GCs walking into Balk's base. Balk has realized this. He's going to try to use shields and retreat now from DCC. More Tech 3 engineers, perhaps Tech 3 anti-air. No, well, do we? No, we don't have Cybern. Cybern telesnipes would be one possibility to turn this game. It looks like the restorers have absolutely cleaned up in Maya's Navy. Maya is forced to retreat. And that's means the top side is beginning to recapture both the rock and the mid spot. It's going to be a huge mass advantage now. 4 GCs have just regrouped. It looks like a snipe is being readied here by Balk. A whole bunch of Tech 3 bombers. That's definitely meant for DCC, who's sitting in the water here. Of course, Aeon do have the Eye of Rian. Imagine it, here it is. So that means that, and it looks like it's working right now. It means Balk. Oh, Balk definitely knows where DCC is. Looks like he looked him up. Yeah, this is exactly the Eye of Rian. Looking in, you can see he's got some power problems. So these Tech 3 strat bombers definitely will be able to kill this ACU. A donut has just been completed. Minute 49. Restorers trying their luck against Maya's Navy, but that was futile. 2 GCs and shields versus 5 GCs and a whole bunch of shields. Be a big experimental battle that DC should take easily. And now maybe with some help with the donuts will be absolutely one-sided. DC now making his way out of the water. He's going to stand probably right on the edge, so he can either hide in the water or go into it, depending on how he gets attacked. And 3 donuts at the same time from DCC, and this is X1, so you can imagine just how much eco he has. Looks like a donut is coming in, is now going to be seen by a bunch of ASF from Balk. Balk is going to go ahead and kill it. Bit of a mistake from DCC. But now DC is going to try to come in and get some payback. And should be able to do it. Now Sith is also going to come in and make sure this fight is very one-sided. At the same time, we do have this battle. Fatty's trying to come in and help, but a little late. And now with 5 GCs coming in, it's basically game over for the bottom side. We do see a whole bunch of Tech 3 torpedo bombers coming in, but looks like they've been spotted. Should be a Tech 3 radar here somewhere on that side, and they're not going to make it. It's perfect position from DC for defense. He's under multiple Tech 3 shields next to the water, so Tech 3 bombers wouldn't even be able to target him. Whole bunch of donuts, 3 donuts in the air from DCC. And this is basically the end. Gotta say, Mega was the MVP even though he only played the first 10 minutes in this 52-minute game. And here's the end of Balk's base. You see some experimentals trying to come in to do a bit of saving, but that's not going to work. See if the donuts actually make it. Balk trying to get more nukes, more GCs. So play until the end, but actually forced to self-destruct his units not to feed. Mize running away with his fatties. Mize has had a nice base this whole game. He's got a nuke of his own. And this is where you don't want to fly if you're Sith, a lot of anti-air. It looks like this game is over. Not really sure why DCC left, but basically we can see a clear winner here. The top side has won. Hopefully people enjoyed it.